Wow. 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 So you guys are so into yourselves, like you are so committed to censoring innocent people that you're just gonna go and try to get my Patreon deleted now.
7 months ago, I made a video on this channel titled Onision has been banned from Patreon, and boy, did it leave quite a shock on the community, because this was the first time we've ever seen Patreon really get rid of a big creator, because Onision violated their terms of service by doxing one of his ex-girlfriends publicly. He released her phone number. Patreon saw this, they were not happy, and they got rid of his $2,000 a month income that he was making through it. But now Onision's back trying to sneak under everybody's noses, under a different alias, under his husband's account. I kid you not. But before we begin any further, special thanks to our most hated sponsor of the channel today. That's right, you've heard of them before, Raid Shadow Legends. Raid is free to play and available on both mobile and PC, and has some of the best graphics I've ever seen in a mobile game. Raid has everything from clan bosses to a battle arena, and one of my favorite game modes is their campaign mode. It's incredibly in-depth. But one of the brand new features of Raid is their new Tag Team Arena. Tag Arena is the next level of competition PvP battles. Instead of a single 4 versus 4 battle like in Classic Arena, it's actually a series of 3 4 versus 4 battles, and it's the best of 3. It's a brand new game mode with tons of new special awards. To whoever manages to finish up high in the rankings gets lots of goodies. You can find me under the nickname Repzion. Join my clan, join me in these PvP fights. Click the special links in the video description, and if you're a brand new player, you're gonna receive 50,000 silver, 50 gems, 1 energy refill, 1 clan boss key, 5 mystery shards, and 1 day XP booster, and 1 free champion known as Hexweaver. All this treasure will be waiting for you here in the upper right corner of the screen, and all these rewards will be available for the next 30 days and only for brand new players. Support the channel, click the link.
So what do? Oh, well, our opinions have been invalidated so many times of him that we're gonna disable his Patreon. Wow. Wow, you would really do that. You would really do that!
So when Onision lost his Patreon the first time, he had a very big freak out, which we all know, which led to a large series of troll videos or semi-serious videos, him pouring kombucha all over himself. It was later revealed that apparently all of this was fake. I don't believe the Patreon video was fake. I think that's the only real one out of everything else that he did. It's a so-and-so meltdown. He went to a different hotel. He was doing a lot of crazy videos of just having breakdowns that were all fake. At least that's what he says. But at this point, Onision has been defeated when it comes to Patreon. Because as of 3 days ago, Cool Guy Kai, which I also made a video on. If you haven't seen that video, I recommend it. Very comprehensive review on the origin of Kai, Onision's husband. Well, he doesn't really appear on the internet anymore and hasn't for quite some time. There's a lot of speculation, there's a lot of rumors. Did he leave with the kids? Is it just Onision in his gigantic house scraping the hawk while his 2 kids and his husband are gone? Who really knows at this point? But that's besides the point. The point here is Onision got onto Kai's Patreon, which was bringing in roughly $100 a month, and sent out a direct message to the last few remaining patrons on that page saying this: Patreon recently approved the new adults only Onision page. Patreon.com/OnisionPrime. Thought you might want to know. Hope all is well. Now, the fascinating thing about this is that it has been speculated by me and tons of other people online that we always thought that Greg, Onision, had control of Kai's Patreon, and this actually really confirmed it, because I promise you, Kai did not get on his Patreon and post a link to all of Onion Boy's OnlyFans content. It's just that no. Now that this has been confirmed, we can be accurately say that yes, Onision controls Kai's Patreon. But oopsie, in less than 60 minutes, in less than an hour, because Onision had already been banned on Patreon once, if you're banned on Patreon, Patreon does not take lightly to you creating a second account and trying to bring in more income when you already were banned for violating their terms of service for doxing one of your ex-girlfriends. That is why he was banned. There's so much coverage and so much evidence of this. It's really not up for debate. It's not people trying to report his Patreon. It's because Onision genuinely, authentically screwed up big time, and Patreon saw that. Hey, it's way easier to blame your audience for your own misfortune when you can't even take responsibility for your own tax fraud that you've committed. I mean, 2 days ago it was tax season. I did my taxes on July 15th, last minute. But you can bet your belly buttons that Onision probably filed an extension because he's still $300,000 out in tax debt.
So I deducted 100% the first year that I bought a property, thinking, oh, well, I spent this amount of money on this property, so I can deduct that full amount on my taxes because all that money went to business. Financial plummet So over, at least 150,000 probably is what I owe at this point. Or I will owe, but that's what it's looking like. And this is generally, so I would start a Kickstarter to have you guys help me pay for this, but I wasn't educated on these taxes, and I used TurboTax, and I hope that they would educate me on those, but TurboTax didn't have a pop-up dialog that said, hey, when you claim this property, you can only do 1/29th of it. Never got a pop-up dialog saying that. I do have a Patreon, patreon.com/Onision. You guys are keeping me going, especially now that we know I have at least $150,000 in debt.
An hour later, he sends another message using Cool Guys Kai's Patreon that says, regarding my previous message, that link is no longer active. If you want to be supportive of Onision, please sign up to the links listed at onision.com, 18 plus, so adults only. Thank you so much for being kind and considerate to us. Now, if you go to the original link that he posted, you'll see this page is under review. Our trust and safety team is currently reviewing this page. Read our community guidelines to learn more. So yeah, his Patreon promoting his OnlyFans is not going to go anywhere. I don't know why he would have the genius bright idea to make another account on something that you've already been banned on, that specifically have it in their terms of service that if you're banned on account, you can't make another account. This is Greg, Onision, the man that we're talking about, so we really shouldn't be surprised at this point. Something that did happen, and I'm looking at it right now, there was a actual kind of semi-debate that occurred with another smaller YouTuber by the name of Nicholas Diorio. Now, he does run somewhat of a pure drama channel. He can be very, very trollish at times, but that's not relevant. What's relevant is that he actually tried to talk to Onision, and in this 19-minute debate, which I'm going to link down below in the description because I recommend you check it out. There's a lot of interesting stuff that happens in there. I'm not going to include the full video. But he finally spoke out. Onision spoke out about some stuff that he hasn't, because he's been really silent recently, posting sexy cat photos on his OnlyFans with hardly any clothing. But he's been very, very inactive with actually being social with YouTubers, creators, social media in general.
All right, but dude, do you know how do you know how ridiculous that sounds? Even if it's true, even if it's 100% true, do you know how unbelievable that sounds? Like, why people criticize that point?
You're talking about a person who's playing victim. That's the problem. You're talking about a person who's playing victim when they actually had to barter just to get laid.
But dude, you're kind of coming on here and playing victim to me right now. Negate the allegation if someone's a bad person. If everything you're telling me is true about Sarah, it doesn't negate the allegation that she makes.
Let's go straight. Let's go straight. Let's just, keep it simple. What's the allegation?
The allegation is grooming.
You have to f a minor for them to be groomed. You know that, right?
This is an interesting point here because Onision specifically says you have to be involved physically with a minor in order to quote-unquote groom them. This is such a black and white line of thinking. In order to groom somebody, you have to be physical with them. Well, you see, Greg, you always border right on the line. You've already publicly admitted that once they turned of age, you immediately went in and there was a relationship there on a physical level that shouldn't have been there between you, between your husband, and between this person who you were living with. Now, at the end of the day, what people want to do in their own personal life when they're adults really isn't the issue. The issue is that you brought this person into the house with the intent because you wanted something when they were of age, and this is actually backed up through conversations, which I've already talked about, of you and your husband talking about specifically taking this person's virginity, which to me is just the strangest thing. Like, if you have somebody who's living with you and they're underage, why are you talking about taking their virginity? That's weird to me. That's not normal. If you meet somebody at 12 years old, and through 12 all the way up to age 18, you're associated with them, you're trying to get them to bond and have a relationship with you all throughout that time, and you're having communication, and you're saying inappropriate things, or whatever it be, throughout that whole time, and then when they turn 18, your goal is to take something from them. That's grooming, dude. You groom them to get something out of it. You can groom somebody financially. You can groom somebody physically.
Dude, I don't want to bring this part up on live stream. I don't want to bring this part up on live stream.
Why? What's off limits?
Do you want things off? I don't want to talk about people who aren't here.
That's the whole conversation. You've been talking about Hanson?
No. All right, I don't want to talk about Kai. Do you want to talk about Kai?
What about Kai?
There are text messages, dude.
Right.
This is what's happening during the time that they're saying that you're grooming her. They have your husband but sending naked pictures.
What you have is something that has no context, has no explanation outside someone just saying that someone sent.
Dude, you don't need context to send pictures to a minor. That's not an answer, dude. I'm sorry.
Have you seen them uncensored?
Dude, how do you have a nip slip twice in 5 minutes? One of them's down at the bottom and one of them is the nipple. I'm just saying these are two screenshots that came in very rapid succession.
You're talking about someone allegedly being. You have no predatory conversation and you have a nipple slip.
This is what people are calling predatory conversation. The fact that there were pictures sent to a minor is what people claim is predatory. So when that puts it next to you as someone who lives with this person, people think that this was going a certain way. I'm explaining to you what people think.
How is that predatorial if the person winds up never having any consensual relationship with that person outside that person blackmailing them into doing anything?
Because it doesn't matter if there's blackmail if you send naked pictures to a minor.
Right, and I'm not confirming or denying anything. I'm just saying that when you have a person who is not supposed to have photos, and that when that other person finds out that they have those photos, they're told to delete it, and Sarah was told to delete it right away when it was found out that she had those.
That's two wrongs. Your argument's two wrongs don't make a right?
No, my argument is that someone was never supposed to have something in the first place. You're trying to make someone a predator when they never ever would ever send that to somebody with any conscious
Dude,
effort.
I think somebody's lying to you.
What are you talking about?
I think that's what you were told. Maybe I'm trying to give you the benefit of the doubt here. If there was a naked picture sent to a minor, it doesn't matter what the context was. That's a naked picture sent to a minor. You're not going to win that argument.
A nipple slip and the what was down there was not sexual. It was not.
How is a naked picture not sexual?
Have you ever been to a nude beach?
Yeah, you don't take pictures and send pictures of people at a nude beach to kids, dude.
And this, ladies and gentlemen, is the icing all over the top of the cake. Now, if you don't see the problem here, I feel sorry for you, because what Onision has done here is he has compared sending inappropriate photos to somebody who is underage to that of walking and going to a, quote, nude beach. This is one of the most ridiculous and insane comparisons I have ever heard Onision make, and trust me, he's made a lot of them. He is completely on the defense to justify, well, they weren't supposed to have those photos, and because they didn't delete it right away, my husband sent these inappropriate photos to a minor, they weren't supposed to have them, and because they didn't delete those photos, they're the problem. Literally trying to take responsibility of something that his husband did and push it on to somebody else. What Nick said is correct. Two wrongs don't make a right. More people need to understand that concept. Now I'm going to end the video here, but for the last remaining 5 minutes, I'm going to link, again, the video is linked down below. I recommend you go and click it. Onision goes on to explain how him and Kai were blackmailed into a physical relationship with Sarah. Onision and Kai both claim that they were R-word by Sarah, which I'm sorry, that's ridiculous. I don't take that seriously. It's one of the dumbest things I have ever heard of somebody literally blackmailing two other adults into a physical relationship in order to get what they want. It's just weird to me. I'm not saying it's not possible. Coming from Onision himself, I don't believe that for a second. Onision and Kai are claiming that they were both ARD, which is ironic because if you go through Onision's history, you'll notice something, and that he specifically emphasizes that if you are hurt or physically ARD in a way, that the first thing that you should do as somebody who's been hurt is go to the police, and that if you don't go to the police, I always like to refer to this tweet. This is my favorite tweet to refer to, because it debunks anything that he has to say regarding himself. If what happened to you really did happen, Onision, why aren't you being consistent with your own words, what you say right here? This type of vitriolic thinking, I don't like. Like, that's the problem here, is that's why I don't believe it, is because you're not consistent with anything that you say, and when you allege something happens to you, you don't even do what you claim that other people need to do. That's just a weird double standard, I don't know. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this mandatory Onision video. All my socials are linked down below. Make sure to hit that bell so you get every video in your sub box. Follow me on Twitter, and I'll see you in a few days for Parents Gone Wild episode 3.